Good morning. At this time, I'd like to call the Plaquemines Parish, Port Harbor, and Terminal District budget hearings to order at 9:03 a.m. on November the 16th, 2022. Y'all have all been distributed some amendments, as well as you have the budget book. And at this time, we'll ask the administration to make the presentation.
We'll take roll.
Roll call, yes. A little anxious. Machine's open for roll call. Let the record reflect that all members are present except Councilmember Bartholomew. And we'd like to ask you to stand in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay. Thank you. We'll now begin.
I'm going to start off, I guess, reading the budget message from the former executive director. As executive director of the port, I hereby submit to the Plaquemines Port Commissioners the proposed operating budget for the year 2023 and the proposed capital improvement budget for the years 2023 through 2027. The budget serves as a financial tool to track the accuracy of last year's forecast and game plan for next year's financial roadmap as the port steadily implements the port strategic plan. As required by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District budget policy, I present a budget evidencing a complete fiscal plan which contains the following: budget message, general budget summary, detailed estimates of revenues, detailed estimates of expenditures, 5-year capital improvement plan, manpower tables, delinquent taxes, current and projected retirement fund obligations, statement of indebtedness, adoption of ordinances. This budget maintains services to the port at the current level. It includes financing for all filled and vacant positions and all vacant positions on the current manpower table. Also included is funding for merit increases for classified employees and cost of living increases for unclassified employees when applicable. The port uses the accrual basis of accounting under which revenues are recorded when earned and expenses are recorded when the liability is incurred. The budget basis of accounting does not materially differ from the financial reporting. The proposed budget represents a fiscally sound approach to port finances. The port will strive to provide efficiency and continue to promote fiscal responsibility. Total expenses is projected to increase by approximately 29%, largely due to the effects of inflation causing the cost of operations to increase. The port expects to see 56% increase in operating lease revenues due to revenues from the Venture Global lease agreements, tariff fee adjustments, and reimbursements from port priority funds. We look forward to the economic growth in Plaquemines Parish resulting from Venture Global taking the next steps in the development process. The port has 2 5-year capital improvement projects with investments totaling $12,194,365. A $6,064,320 appropriation on the behalf of PPG to add a water booster station near Alliance and include upgrading dual feed water lines to enhance water pressure and water access for the communities of Myrtle Grove, Ironton, and Port Sulphur have been proposed. Also, $6,130,045 for an ongoing relocation project essential for the consolidation of the port's campus. The port proposes total estimated revenues to exceed the total proposed expenditures by $2,712,064. This concludes the executive director's message.
Okay, for a little clarification and some house cleaning, a couple of questions.
Sure.
The Archer study is included in the manpower table. Does the budget projected increase by approximately 29% include those numbers?
The manpower budget includes the Archer study
No,
number.
that's not the question. It says total expenses is projected to increase by approximately 29%, largely due to the effects of inflation causing the cost of operations to increase. There is a percentage of that 29% include the Archer study.
Yes.
So then we should, the message should say that inflation plus the implementation of the Archer study, correct?
Correct.
Because if someone picks this book up, they know inflation is not 29%. I know it's rampant, but it's not that. So we're going to include that language in the message?
Yes, sir, I will.
Can you clarify what's included with that? Is it just totally, just operations of materials or
You know that?
fuel? Is that what it's included?
Yes, mainly fuel. Fuel was a large increase for us.
First, let me thank you for stepping up. As some of you may or may not know, our position was comptroller?
Director of Finance. Mine's.
No, hers.
Director of Finance.
Director of Finance is not with us. She's on family medical leave, and I understand subsequently has decided to resign her position and move on. So for y'all to fill in, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So we have the rough steps here to get through the budget, maybe. But I know you can handle it. So we,
Do our best.
sure you will. The port expect to see the 56% increase. That's pretty standard, understanding that due to what you've got in the message. Did you get your question answered? I'm sorry.
I did, and also, you said we're going to have an influx, we're going to have an influx of 56% of operating lease revenue. Can you make a statement on that also?
But I know for 2023,
Could you speak into the mic, please?
I'm sorry. When we first started collecting from VG, the first year, part of it was already prepaid, so it was like deferred rent. So this year, we're going to get everything, straight off the bat. So that's why it's going to be an increase in parcel 3.
Do you know how much of an increase?
349,750.
And that's for the year?
Well, that's just the increase amount.
Okay.
The proposed budget is for parcel 3, $7,329,684.
For the year, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's not the total amount that?
No,
The total amount of Venture Global rents to the port this year will be?
I don't have it totaled. Okay, so it's broken down into parcel 2, laydown area, and parcel 3. So I just gave you parcel 3. Parcel 2 is $8,861,976, and the laydown area is $1,120,000.
17 million.
And the other figure that you had given us previously, so we could add it up?
$7,329,684.
About 18 million. Give or take.
I can bring one.
I know. Yeah, these are-
I'm getting it. About 17,311,660 by rough numbers.
Yes.
It's important for the public to know that, as a result of Venture Global deciding to locate here on the port property, that $17 million worth of revenue is for the port and for many years to come. And the revenue will continue to grow as the project grows. And it's my understanding that once B3 is completed, that number will even expand even more, according to the testimony that we had from the attorney previously on that, to the tune of approximately $7 or $8 million more. So I know the public's suffering with traffic and the headaches of the growth, but at the same time, the rewards are starting to come early as far as rents go. And as you heard yesterday from the sales tax department, the sales taxes are starting to come. So it should put us on the road to a good and quick recovery. And with those comments, anybody else have any comments from the table? Audience? If not, we'll move on to the next part of the budget.
Next in your budget books, if you flip to the budget summary, the revenues for 2023 are projected at $41,494,670. Expenses, 23,636,657. Excess revenues over expenses is 17,858,13.
So what page are you on?
If you flip to the next section in the budget summary,
I'm there, yeah.
it's a little,
Okay, I see where you.
okay, I'm sorry.
I got you.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, revenue, I got that column. Thank you.
Okay. Capital assets, 78,771,554. Port land fund, 4,001,332. Unrestricted is 7,431,874.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none? We'll go to the next page, which would be the land purchase,
Land purchase,
fund reserve for
yes.
that.
And it kind of gives you the history of the land purchase. This is based off of 20% of the fees collected from our tariff goes into this fund. And this year, and if you flip to the second page, the 2023 budget, it shows you the $4,331,772 that was noted in the summary.
Any questions on the land fund? None? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You better.
I know we talked about in the past of increase in tariffs. Did we ever get to that point?
Yes, we have it in the budget. We have the increase in the budget
Okay,
for 2023.
thank you, Erica.
And we are making an introduction at the special meeting for the tariff increases. Next, we're going to do highlights and major changes. If you go to your details portion. Let's see. Is there anything else that you needed to go through in the section before that? No. Okay, all right. You need your mic.
Okay, the first highlight would be in our revenue budget, which I already stated, the increase in Venture Global Parcel 3.
We're going to hit highlights of things over 25,000, if that's okay. Just going down, unless you have other questions that you want to address individually.
Okay. Page 2, we have an increase in, and this is the budget for 2460, which is our general operating budget. And that's pretty much the office staff salaries is in this budget. So we have an increase of, according to the budget book, we have 25,176, but I issued a amendment to you all because we had the wrong amount for the executive director salary.
I'm sorry, what page?
Page 2.
It's on page 2, but there will be an amendment to that salary amount.
Okay, that has been distributed to us.
Yes.
Is that the amendment number one?
Yes. Amendment number
This is
one.
to adjust the salary to the contract amount?
Yes.
All right, I'll offer the amendment next for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Newberry. Any comments or discussion on the amendment or clarification? This corrects and reduces the budget by $37,500 due to the contract being signed at an amount of less. Any comments? Questions from the audience? Hearing none, machine is open. And the amendment is adopted. 8-0, Mr. Bartholomew being absent.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, our next line would be group health insurance. It's on page 2 also, and we have a decrease of $121,806.
The health insurance decreased?
This is due to the combination of positions and vacancies.
What was that increase at the council meeting? I think
It's a
yesterday.
decrease.
What was the increase of the insurance? I know the parish was 8. What was y'all, 3?
3.2%,
3.2?
Right, but the reflection is a negative 121?
1.1806, 121,806.
Right, but then, explain that a little bit more.
Pardon me?
Explain that.
Explain it. We had two full-time positions that were budgeted at the family rate. Typically, if we have any vacancies, I'll always budget for the family rate just to make sure that that individual is covered should they have a family that needs coverage. We had positions that were consolidated. We had the deputy director's position that was vacant, and we had the in-house legal position that were combined. So those two created a decrease. We also have, we had some vacancies that we didn't fill most of the year. We didn't fill the purchasing agent position until September. We had a clerk 3 that we didn't fill until September. And then we have a vacant position for an IT person that is unfilled at this time. So we have a little bit.
Right, but some of them were filled and some of them were funded. It made that much of a difference because we had the attorney position funded in last year's budget? The in-house attorney?
We did.
And the other positions, I mean, I'm happy to see that the number that went down. I just want to make sure that we're reflecting what's really
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So we save $121,000 in group health insurance because of consolidation of positions is, I guess, the best answer?
Yes.
All right. Okay, proceed.
Okay, next line, insurance, fire, wind, collision, we have an increase of $34,926. Okay, turn to page 4. 4, legal support general, we have a decrease of $25,000. And then professional service grant admin, we have an increase of $45,000.
I have a question on legal, since you got line item legal. Since we've hired Miss Melissa, are we still needing outside counsel at this point? Have we used any outside counsel at this point?
We do still have the firm that we had in the past that's taking care of our closings for the piano key purchases.
Okay, that makes sense.
I also have a labor attorney that we've used for years for specific labor issues as needed.
Okay, thank you.
So the legal fees will, once the piano keys are completely purchased, then there will be no longer need for that outside firm?
In the past, I believe we've had it broken down into the different departments. This is for the port issues, in-house issues for the 2460.
So, well, then, for the inside port issues, then it should be probably
Yes,
zero.
that's why it's
then.
decreasing, because we have in-house now
I know, but you still got 50,000 in there,
for legal support.
Yeah.
if that's what this category is for.
Do you have any notes on that?
No, she didn't give me any.
No, but if we you got money throughout the budget for different purposes.
I can
Okay.
run this to ground if you need to. We'll figure out what this is.
What's that?
I said we can run this to ground and see if we can get definitive what this was put in for specifically. We can
Yeah.
reach out.
Dr. Good?
Did you say that the piano key purchases was part of this?
No.
No, okay.
No,
No.
she asked if there were other outside legal that we still use.
Yeah, I agree that we proceed with using the same firm for the piano keys because they've been doing it for so long, and once the piano keys are completed, then they go away. But this is for something else. The next thing on here, 78,000, professional services general. Do you know what that is for?
I don't know where they are.
Professional service general. No, we just pretty much kept the budget the same as 2022, but we can make an amendment.
Yeah, we spent 42,000.
Yes,
Do we know what they spent that on?
I can get it for you.
If it's an ongoing expenditure.
Professional services, planning and engineering, 250,000.
We ain't gotten there yet.
I'm there.
It's just taking a while to come up. Slow. And you want to know what the 42 was spent on? Okay.
Sorry, it's slow.
Okay. While that's coming up, the next item would be the 78,000, professional services general. That's the one you're looking up now. And then the professional services grant administration, 45,000. That was zero, but we spent 21,000.
That was with the Rostan group that we used to get some FEMA reimbursements. We are starting to see some reimbursements from Hurricane Ida roll in as a result of their efforts to get us some, reimbursements on that.
And so you think that's going to increase from the amount that you spent last year of 21,000 to 45?
We have a lot of port security grants that we use an outside grant administrator to assist us with those. We don't have anyone in-house that can do that.
Well, that brings up the question, it says professional services grant, and are you considering FEMA, the 21,695 that you said you spent with Rostan, that's in the same category as the grant with the 45,000?
Yes.
You're lumping that together? Okay. Any questions? Next item of Mr. Konovich, 250?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am, you there?
Yes, I have the number.
Could you get that mic and pull it to you?
Sorry.
All right.
Out of the 42 that was spent, that was the grant work done for the ferries. And it was charged to the general operating budget.
Miller Nick-Takis group.
So-
The 42 actual for 2022,
So,
that and also the study that we did for the tariff.
UNO study.
I would suggest that, you know, in the future, when we have a lobbyist or a grant writer or whatever, that you tag that in the budget as that category, and we wouldn't even ask this question.
All right.
And if it's spelled out that way, we knew Becky Natakis was on the payroll.
Noted.
Any questions on that? Move to 250.
He's asking about professional services, planning and engineering.
Yes.
I know we kept that the same as what
Same
we
as
had as last year.
Right, and you only spent 26,000 though.
Is that in anticipation of,
Well, I guess if we know what we
Other
spent that
projects
on,
that are
we can
coming
go
on.
forward and see what we move forward with. The purpose of me asking these questions is to try to drill down the budget to what we are actually spending and need, rather than packing all of the funds into the budget.
Okay, that was for, that's the water booster?
yeah, the water, Kyle and Associates, the Alliance Water Booster Station.
This is for the grant, the Port Priority Funding Program project that we are seeking funds for.
That's the planning and engineering, that's what we spent
This
so
is,
far.
yeah, this is for the, this is included, this is what's going to be included in the 250 for professional services engineering.
No, for what is it, project?
Kyle and Associates, the water line, Alliance Water Line Service.
Now, we just appropriated, I thought, a significant amount of money for that project in on
We
the
as
budget
the-
amendment.
We as the port, or we as the parish?
No, we as the port.
Did we appropriate?
Yeah, we did a big chunk of an appropriation for that project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
It was like,
Kyle and
in our
Associates.
5-year,
ma'am?
we have, 9 million in our 5-year capital improvement budget.
Right, 6 million, but I think we appropriated something like $500,000 or $600,000 for Kyle and Associates
I'm not
for
aware.
the water plant, for the project. Just recently, we did an amendment.
Was that to the?
And remember, we had talked to you about negotiating the fee, because we thought the fee was, for the water line was, you know,
I get Melissa here.
a little,
Yeah.
could have been negotiated a better fee, I guess what we were talking about.
See if I have that in here. Just compared to last year. I know we did something. We did an amendment. She did a budget amendment.
Shabbat did a budget
I
amendment?
think she did.
I would have to look for it.
Okay, well, without bogging us down,
Yeah, we'll have to.
I don't know, you know,
I recall, now I know that you say that, I recall, I kind of recall those amendments. to
yeah, the
that.
amendment
I
was,
didn't- Let me see if I can pull that. Can you pull up, it would have to be in
I
the
don't have
ordinance.
access to her files.
Okay, sorry.
Dr. Gui?
Christie, if
Yeah.
we appropriated funding, well, let's just, for argument's sake, say $500,000 for engineering on the Alliance Booster Station in 2022. Well, that's not going to be paid in 2022.
Right.
So the money that was appropriated would be in 2023 budget? How would that work?
In my opinion, it would roll over in the capital improvement budget, and it rolls over,
Yes.
because if it's an operational budget, it ends and it doesn't roll over.
Oh,
But I
right.
think that appropriation should be reflected in the capital improvement budget. Right. And this number here is, but it's,
Is she able to pull that up on the computer? Yeah, it's in here,
you see it?
Roll call, shall I answer?
not that exact amount. Anticipating 2020, 2 million, but it doesn't break down to engineering fees, no. That's in the blue. tab.
Yes, yes. Right. So unless you have, we believe, from looking at the capital improvement budget, in the budget presented, that the money is there for this project. So is there another project that this $250,000 is in there for?
You said there was an amendment for Phase 2 water booster that was done.
Correct.
And she haven't been billed yet, as of yet.
No, I understand that, but the money is in the capital improvement budget. We're trying to figure out now what's this $250,000 in this budget. And at first it said that was for the booster station, but now we know that that booster station is in the capital outlay budget. Right, but Phase 2 was also,
In your notes, is it in there?
was budgeted in that amendment, as far as I see. Because if it's a $6 million project and we're paying $600,000 in engineering fees, that should be adequate to cover the entire project. And my point is that if you put it in the budget and engineering fees continue to grow and grow and grow, we don't get a handle on it. And the curve for the state is only 10 to 12%. So they shouldn't be billing more than the curve. And on a project of simple water line, it should be a lot less than the curve. Anyway, I don't want to bog you down, but the 250, do y'all want to just leave it there and see what happens, or what?
We can make an adjustment
Yeah,
we can make an adjustment if you choose.
all the information that you all need and.
Well, yeah, it just goes back to where I'm trying to get the budget down to what it's actually for, instead of, like I said before, packing money in budget line items for the purposes of just parking money. Okay, we'll move on. No questions, we'll move on. Next,
Okay, and then page 6. We have an increase for other charge, usage rights and fees of $672,000.
now, this is to pay sustainability partners.
Yes.
Yeah, that's heartburn for me. You know, I can't support that amount of money in here, especially while we're in court, you know. Because in the past, we were paying them, and we didn't have a budget line item. So what's the wishes of the board?
Legislation's already out there. I mean,
What's that?
legislation's already out there. Are we required to have that in there?
I believe we have a contract, so I guess until they tell
So
us.
the question is legally, maybe Melissa can answer that. I don't know.
She's coming.
Well, she's right there.
Oh,
Come on around, Melissa.
there she is.
Come take
The
a
question is that we're in court deciding if, go ahead, Ms. O.
Because we do have the suit pending at this point, we don't have a court date. I'll get with Danny on this. I think right now, paying it may be a little premature, seeing as though we don't know where it's going to go. And so now that the suit's been filed, typically it puts things on a standstill until it can be resolved. So I'll get with Danny and I'll get with Erica and Christy on that. I think, in my opinion, from a legal perspective, I think paying it right now may be premature because it is in a legal
Okay,
dispute.
so if you don't pay it, do we have to have that line item for legal purposes?
I would recommend just leaving it in for right now because we don't know where it's going to go in the end. At least we can have it on the books in preparation, but actually paying it at this time, I would recommend we just sit on that aspect.
Thank you for answering that.
And I don't have a problem with that if the administration is agreeable to that position, because in the past, when that issue was raised and we did not appropriate the money, the administration paid it anyway without the consideration of what the position of the board was. when we actually voted not to appropriate the funds, it was paid from general operating expenses, is what I kept being told, which meant that the monies that we appropriated for general operating was being taken to fund something that the board decided not to fund. But if the position of the administration is that, as the attorney just stated, we are in litigation and we should not be paying it until it's resolved, I don't have a problem with leaving it in, and it may cover one of the aspects of the contract that says, you're obligated in good faith to appropriate the money, which, in good faith, there's not much good faith in the contract that I believe when I look at it. But anyway, what are the wishes of the board? You want to ride with it? And Mr. Blink?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if somebody could explain to me, like I'm 5 years old, how we're going to pay a usage fee for a rail line that does not currently exist, that would go into my decision on what we need to do.
Right.
Dr. Goy?
So, from what I understand, everything now is at a standstill because of the deck action.
That's correct.
So no bills are coming in. And so the result of that deck action, and just tell me if I'm right or wrong, the result of that deck action is going to dictate whether there'll be operations will resume and we'll start incurring
That's correct.
bill.
But to clarify that, Dr. Gui, there are no bills that come to us for us to approve. This is a set monthly rate that they have determined that we are to pay for, as Mr. Blink stated, rail usage fees for a rail that does not exist. So as far as the bills go, whether you're talking about the LA 23 bills that they are paying, as you know, that's not our bills. Those are bills that LA 23 are incurring, and the bills or the repayment of the loan to Sustainability Partners is basically the monthly note that they say that we are using the rail usage fee to pay. I know that's confusing, but it's a matter of the contract. We don't really, what happened, this board gave a slug of money approval to be issued from Sustainability Partners to LA 23, and the first slug of money was $3 million or $3.5 million, whatever it was, and they spent it. Then they came back and the board approved the next slug of money, which is another $2 million, I believe. And whatever they're doing with that, we don't know. We don't even know if that has all been expended or what the work product is. And I assume that we'll wind up eventually finding that out through the courts, and who's liable for paying that back or not paying it back. But in this instance, the 672 is really a repayment of the loan, in my opinion, and then, again, they say it's not a loan. So why are we, as Mr. Blink said, paying the monthly note for a fee that doesn't, for a rail usage fee that doesn't exist? Dr. Gouy?
So then, the fact of the matter is that we are paying a monthly fee whether they're working or not, and the deck action does not stop everything. The deck action only is what it is, and we still have to pay a monthly fee. That's the way I understood Mr. Roussel. So is that what it is?
Well, the deck action is going to determine whether that agreement and the payment of those fees are in fact legitimate fees and should be paid. So without getting too deep into the legal cause of action, I don't know if they're receiving or continuing to pay. In my opinion, I think everything should just come to a standstill at this point.
Well, I think that's what we're looking for. That, are we obligated to pay this in spite of the deck action? Or does the deck action kind of shut it down for now until a decision comes
Yes.
down on whether it's a debt or not?
That is what I'm going to recommend, because the deck action is going to determine where we were, where we are, and where we're going to go forward with that agreement, if the payment should have been paid at all. So I don't recommend that we continue making any payments. SP, of course, they can have their own opinion. I don't feel that they should even be continuing to do any work at this point, if they are in fact doing that.
I want your opinion. So do we leave it in or we take it out?
I say let's leave it in because we don't know where this is going to go from the court's perspective. So at least it's in there because we can't determine the end result. At least we're prepared for it.
And to
Well-
repeat my position,
Well, I want to know, we never appropriated the money to pay the payments they made. So they was doing it without our approval. So what's the consequences of somebody paying a bill that we didn't give them the money to pay?
Well, and that's what the deck action is going to also clarify as well. So that's why this is important in many legal aspects, because a lot's happened that perhaps should not have happened. And so this is going to clarify and give us direction on where we should be going.
Do we have a date on that?
No, we do not. If I had to assume, it'll probably be early next year.
It goes back to the reason Sandy isn't here today. He didn't think he had to answer to anybody on this board, so he did what he wanted. Now, are we still having people doing that, or are we under control now?
I think that the team now is working well together. It's change. Change can be difficult, but I think we're all adjusting to the change well.
you completed, Ms. LaHaye?
Melissa, explain to me why you feel that it should be left in there. Why not take it out? It looks like you think that you actually are going to owe it. Like, you think the end result is going to be you're going to owe it. That's why I would take it out, if you can.
Well, if the council wishes, if we can certainly do an amendment later, if the courts decide that for some reason that the money's owed, we can come back to the council and request an amendment to add it in. We can certainly do that.
Well, why can't you do it the opposite way? Take it out now and amend later to
We
put
can.
it back in.
We can certainly do that.
I mean, I would feel better doing that. I don't know about the rest of them.
All right, where were you, what did you comment?
Well, I would suggest that we take it out for now, and then later on, if you find out that it looks like you think you owe it, to me. So I would suggest you take it out now, and if you need the funds, if you lose the case or whatever, and it's determined that you do owe it, then you would have to amend your budget for that amount of money.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that, because if you believe the contract is a legitimate contract, it says you should pay it. You should appropriate it. If you believe the contract's not a legitimate contract, then you have no obligation to appropriate.
That's my point.
Okay, so are you completed, Ms. LaHaye?
I disagree with that because we already have legislation on the table pertaining to this contract. And it's not, I don't feel that we're obligated to it one way or the other. I just think that, in my opinion, it should stay to see what the end result will be. It will be there. If we do need it, if we don't need it, then we can take it out. Because we already passed legislation for it to be there. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, but that
Well, your
was a suit.
your position is that you honor the contract with that position, correct?
Not necessarily. I mean,
Well, you said that we passed something to put it in. What does that document look like? I know, which legislation are you referring to?
The agreement with SD, as it SP, SD,
Yes, Sustainability Partners.
Sustainable Partners, SP.
Well, that goes to the heart of the matter. If you agree that, or you believe that that document is legal, then,
Well, I think the judge is going to decide whether it's legal or not. I'm not an attorney. I'm just saying we did pass legislation to come to an agreement with SP. That's up to y'all. I'm not going to be here anymore.
but that's the whole crux of the situation.
That makes sense.
Ms. LaHaye, you would like to make a motion to remove it?
Yes, I would.
I'll second the motion to remove the 672. Any further comments or discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, machine is open.
to Kim.
And the amendment is removed. 5-3. Next item, please.
The next one would be, we're asking $60,000 for office equipment, and that is for the sign outside, in front of the building.
Okay.
We would like to utilize that sign to give notices to the public if there are any issues with our ferries or anything else going on.
So, in other words, we'll be able to put on that sign that the Point Lahash Ferry is out of service, correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Don't go down the road.
Right.
That's
Any
the
other-
goal. That's
any
the goal.
And I'm glad y'all finally, we talked about this in meetings, on our Monday morning meetings, and I want to appreciate and thank y'all for putting it together to put it in the budget. Next item.
Okay, page 7, and this is for 2462 rescue boats. The first increase is $301,000 for salary and wages.
And that reflects Archer. Does it also reflect the 3% on top of Archer?
No, just
It's
Archer.
Archer,
Just Archer.
okay?
We did not include merit in any of those. It's just the Archer figures. And Ms. Rochelle Morrell was very, very helpful in helping us kind of get all this put together. We really appreciate her efforts.
Okay, next, and the next item is,
Decrease, it's a decrease of 102,768 for group health insurance, but then we have an increase of 105,021 for retirees' health insurance. It's
okay, any comments or questions on the item? Hearing none?
We have one amendment for 2462.
Yeah, that's the next two I'm going to.
Okay.
You have an amendment there?
Oh, no. Okay, I have an amendment for my next one, which is maintenance vehicles light. I had happy fingers. I entered one too many zeros. So I had to do a decrease.
Typo.
All right, well, let us correct it. Which one is it?
It's amendment number 3.
Okay.
You want one of these? Get right there.
It should be 7,500 and not 75,000.
I have 7,500.
I got 70, in the book, it's 75,000.
75,000 for 2023?
Oh, in the book you're talking about?
Yes.
I'm looking
Yes.
at the amendment. The amendment's correct.
Yeah, the amendment's correct.
Yeah, the amendment is correcting it
All right,
to
maintenance
reflect.
Light vehicle. Yeah, I see it. Here it is.
And on that amendment is also professional service, planning and engineering.
Okay, so we're reducing that to 281,750. Good. Now,
Yes.
what does that, what project is that?
Another typo.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the 281,000 that we're going to.
So is that the security barge? The security dock?
I'm not, let me see.
Oh, the decimal point was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And that is 5601.
281.
We'll offer the amendment as soon as we know it.
Okay, that's dock engineering.
Yes, the security dock, engineering for the security dock at the VG campus area.
Okay. Any other comments or questions before I offer the amendment? I'll offer the amendment number 3.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Konovich. Any comments or questions on the amendment? Hearing none, machine is open. And the amendment is adopted 8-0, Councilmember Bartholomew being absent. Next.
Okay, increase of $50,000 for maintenance boats. Right here.
Yeah, what page you on?
I'm on page 8, and it is maintenance boats, 528,130.
That's wait, 130. Okay, it's already increased within the budget.
Yes.
All right.
Where we at with docking the boat in Venice?
Where are we, what in the dock?
Since we not at the Coast Guard station?
Oh, yes. Currently, we have, we've made arrangements with the Venice Marina. They've allowed us to put the Eastport down there to make our runs. We have to have a presence in Venice, and we have to maintain our security patrols. So he's allowed us to slip there. We're only paying for electricity. We're currently pursuing, there is a dock that the Corps of Engineers is in the process of purchasing in the area where, and we're working on an agreement with them to maybe allow us to put the Authority 2 in that location.
Is it the Venice Marine or the Parish Boat Harbor that we in?
It is in the Venice Marina.
Why wouldn't we go to the Parish Boat Harbor?
We need shore power and we need water. And the dock that we looked at those locations, we looked at every avenue, and the docks in that area are completely dilapidated and not able to, put our boat there. I've got pictures of all of those
Yeah.
locations.
And Mark, that's a great question. I think it's something we need to look into. We can get some parish property.
There's electricity and water at each dock. We just have to put our own plug to get an electrician put a plug.
If we can get somebody to actually work on electricity and water and see what the cost, that way we can put it on the parish side versus the Venice side. That'll increase the infrastructure there. Is that correct, Mark?
Yep.
Do you want to? What the specific requirements are for the shore power and the boats?
Well, hopefully, the boat won't be there that long, where we can do with the Corps. I mean, I wouldn't put no money into setting up a dock that's, I have to go and look and make sure it's right, before we put the boat on the parish side. But I can do that, that's fine. But let's see what the Corps says. And then, we're only paying electricity over there, which we will be paying electricity anyway.
Or we're gonna have to pay the call.
I don't know that, no.
That I'm aware of. I don't know. We're reaching out. We haven't gone to those, we haven't got to that stage.
And where is the Corps dock at? Can you explain that to me?
Closer to the river.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like rivers here, Corps docks right here.
Is that the old Halliburton?
LZ.
The old Halliburton site that was for sale?
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know.
I didn't bring that file, but I have a
I know it was the old LZ's dock where the Corps is right now. And they just buying Baker on the point.
That's the site that we're talking to them about. I think it was it is the Baker site that they're in the process of purchasing. They're going through the appraisal process now, and I've got Melissa we're going to reach out. We've got the contact to reach out to their attorney to see,
Okay, I guess the point is this, is that we got to pay the Corps, then the option of the Packman's Parish Public Boat Harbor should be looked at as comparing to the rent. If we're not paying the Corps and we got free rent, then I guess it really doesn't matter.
Right.
And, I'm just speaking for myself.
We're negotiating all of those right now.
And we can move from there. Yeah. Does that answer your questions?
Yes.
Mr. Blink, you have a question?
Yeah, sure. I was down at Port Eads the other day. It's a world-class, beautiful facility, built really well. It's a shame that, those docks in Venice didn't get that same treatment, or that money couldn't have been reallocated. We really would have had something, because there's 60 unoccupied slips down there. For the record, yield.
All right. Any further comments on this item? 50,000? There are none?
Page 9, janitorial supplies. We're decreasing by $63,000.
Which one?
On page 9, supplies
The
janitorial.
very first,
Was that Heavy Finger?
no.
Well, that was
we budgeted-
2022 budget.
2022, we had a lot of COVID. We had COVID
Yeah, well,
supplies.
let's not waste a lot of time on that, because this is a typical example of packing the budget. Putting $70,000 in janitorial supplies when we only spent $1,500,
Yeah.
okay?
I didn't do it.
So, even 7,000 looks like it's pretty heavy, but maybe you need a lot of soap, so we'll see. Let's move on.
The next item, towards the bottom of the page, is fuel. We're asking $11,000 for gasoline, and then off-road diesel, we're asking $98,000.
Okay, any questions on that item? Hearing none, move to the next.
Page 10, vehicles, we're asking for $62,000. Vehicles, others, boats, increase of $25,000. And then we have equipment generator, that's a decrease of $60,000. Tractors and mowers, $20,000 increase. And then equipment, utility boats, trailer, $130,000 increase.
Okay, give us a list of the items that you want to buy. Obviously, $100,000 worth of trucks and $25,000 boat and so forth.
62,000 is for a to replace some aging vehicles in the fleet.
How many?
2.
2 vehicles?
Yes, sir.
That brings you to 100,000. What is the
That's,
rest of it?
the 25,000 for the others is the Authority 3 is going to have to go to the shipyard.
Wait, no. You're increasing the 2023 budget to 100,000.
Is that
No,
trucks? Is
That's
that
what you're
for trucks?
proposing.
yes.
You're proposing $100,000, so what is the 100,000 for?
Is that for trucks or?
That's more, I think it's, how many vehicles is that for?
Carrie didn't state.
He didn't. Do you know, Ronnie?
Yeah, $100,000 is for trucks.
How many? 2 trucks?
Can I explain?
What's that?
Can we explain?
Sure, go ahead.
Trucks are expensive.
Could you please state your name, please?
Oh, sorry.
Rowdy Trailway, marine diesel mechanic. I recently purchased a truck it's supposed to be delivered this year, it won't be delivered till next year. It was $45,000. It was just a regular F-150 crew cab, not even forward drive. The ones we were getting are going to be a crew cab, F-150 crew cab with forward drive. So that's the reason. And the truck that I purchased this year, it was $45,000. So we just added another 5 to make it 50 for each truck.
King cab?
Yeah, crew cab, the 4-door crew cab. We go to a lot of classes, and that's able to bring our guys to like fire school and stuff like that. That's why we get the big trucks.
That's half ton or 3/4?
It's half ton.
Okay.
We have a dually to pull the boats that we need to pull and trailers, so we don't really need a bigger truck. So that's why we went with F-150s.
All right, then the next is vehicles other than boats, 25,000. That's a boat?
Shipyard.
Shipyard.
Oh, that's for a shipyard fee?
Other boats, yes, sir.
All right, and then the generators, you need generators,
Yes.
tractors and mowers.
Yes, we need new tractors. We've got a lot of property now we have to maintain with piano keys, so
We're cutting the grass ourselves?
we are.
Okay. And
You can get a tractor for 20,000?
Zero turn.
Yeah, it would be a zero turn, not a tractor.
You could cut those piano keys with a 0 turn?
Yeah, it's like just regular properties. They're not really that big.
Oh, that ain't.
And all-
Not the ones that are,
It's just for like the ones that have a house on it.
Oh, okay.
clear.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
clear
they're already pretty much cleaned up and just need to keep them maintained.
Do we have an employee specifically for cutting grass now that we have the amount of property? I mean,
No.
so who are we paying? Are we paying a service, a third party, or?
The exercise today, man.
Stand there, Rowdy.
If we have crew available, our crews will go cut the grass. And also, Tony just reminded me, we have a bush hog that we use to cut high grass and stuff. So we don't need a bush hog. We have one already.
They use ours.
The ferry, we share.
Yeah, we all one now, right?
That's right.
Yes.
We are.
If any commissioner wants to volunteer cutting port grass, more than welcome.
That's right.
Do I'll share?
Yeah, our marine inspectors will grab a crew member, couple crew members, and they'll go cut grass. That's who does the grass cutting.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
All right.
Next item is utility boat trailers. Do you need trailers?
That's just to maintain the properties.
Equipment, utility boat trailers.
It's to pull the Bobcat. We don't want to leave it out on the property, so we can bring it to our dock.
130,000 for a boat trailer?
No, that's not supposed to be a boat trailer. That's a skid steer and a trailer.
Oh, okay. So it's more than a boat trailer? It's a-
Yeah, it's a Bobcat and a trailer.
Any questions on these items?
Nope.
How are we maintaining the ditches?
Maintain the ditches.
Oh, do we have special equipment for that, or are we
We don't.
spraying the ditch? I mean, it's a rural area. I think that-
Our guys pretty much spray too while they doing the initial cleanup, cut grass. They'll take a weed killer and kill the grass.
Mr. Blank?
Sure, this might be a point of privilege, but it is related to some of these properties. What is the ultimate plan? So there's a number of homes, other structures that are on some of these piano keys. Is there going to be demolition? Are they going to be rehabbed and put back into commerce? What is the plan there? And that might be for this board to decide, but,
I think-
we might have started with just one or two of these structures. They were being leased out, they were in fair condition. And now it seems like maybe the conditions are deteriorating. I'm just wondering, what is the plan?
I do know that one of the properties where we are relocating, we'll have the security dock there, will be our Marine Operations Center. One of the homes will be turned into that. I'm not really sure what the plans were for the others.
Okay, no, that's helpful. That's where the dock's going to be in the back, right?
Yes,
Overlook
sir.
from there? Okay,
Yes.
got it. All right. Do y'all need another line item here to put a nice fence out there? You put some of your equipment, or how
Well,
soon
we
before that
have-
construction begins?
We have port security grants that's pretty much going to cover that. We have one for the dock. We have a grant, right now we have a barge. And then we was awarded 2 grants for enhancements. So,
Thank you, Erica.
Any further questions on the items?
Yes.
Front.
That tower that we had purchased, are we utilizing that tower?
I think we're in the process of getting cameras or new camera equipment. We're working with an IT company. Melissa, do you know if ITS is doing anything with those tower cameras? No.
I think we bought the tower and we haven't gotten any revenue off of it since we bought it. That's
I mean,
my recollection is.
They,
We just
at
bought
that
it.
time, they had to have it.
I agree. But we let's move on.
Yeah.
Next
we-
item.
we have a major decrease in property, major repairs. In 2022, we had budget 140,000. We didn't use it, so we're decreasing the budget by 140.
Okay.
Okay, next. That was on the bottom of page 10.
Okay.
Page 11, this is 2463 Ferries Department. Here we have an increase in salaries of 209,174, an increase of 100 for salary wages overtime. And, yeah, so.
Okay.
I have a question.
Ms. Newberry?
So that's a lot of overtime, and I'm glad these guys are getting overtime, but do y'all know what the increase now, since we've adjusted since the Archer study, was there an increase, is there a bigger increase on these guys with the ferries?
Yes.
It's in the manpower table in the back.
Yeah.
Tony, you want to address that?
Deckhands will start their new salary after this budget is adopted. It'll go from a starting salary of 30,000 to 36,840.
I'm sorry, what was your question again? My name's Anthony. the ferryman.
Anthony, yeah, I see that now, that the increase has been a little over 6,000 for the new position. Has it helped the incoming, the guys that are already there? Have they, I'm looking at it now. Okay.
We
I
haven't
guess the short answer would be no.
It hasn't helped in someone applying, no. The reason I put the 100,000 in for the overtime is because we're short, what is it, again, I think we're short 7 deckhands.
7 deckhands.
We're short 3 captains and 2 or 3 engineers. So I have to call guys in on their days off to work. I have my maintenance guys that are working as deckhands, so they're making overtime. Yeah, I mean, as the budget I'm looking at was as of August, we had went through $88,000 of 150, and we still had little over 61,000 left. Now we're into November. I really haven't gotten any update on that, but I'm sure we probably went through another $20,000 or so. So I'm looking at all of these open positions for 2023, and I said, well, we might have to increase the overtime budget.
Anthony,
Until we can get the positions
But
filled.
let me ask you this. The new salary has not been advertised on the board yet, correct?
Not that I'm aware of. I think
Right.
that. I don't
So
think civil services.
we don't know the impact of what this new salary will be until we put it on the board.
Correct.
So I understand the overtime issue, and I understand that we haven't been able to hire anybody, but until we put the new price on the board and people see the new price, we won't know. That's the actual.
Anthony, can I ask you a question? Is this a fair market versus New Orleans and Chalmette with their deckhands? Have you looked at their salary base by any chance?
Not
know, to
really,
me, it would be
not yet.
competition.
I just took over in August. I know Joey was looking into it. We was all looking into it. I believe Joey had asked for $15 an hour. I don't really, Mr. Roussel knows more about what happened with that.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into I do know that other companies are offering, this is the outside sector. This isn't
Correct.
anyone else. Just for a deckhand on a barge, they're offering anywhere between $200 to $250 a day. That's for a deckhand. For a captain,
Like 7 and 7. That's a 7 and 7 position.
some of those are 7 and 7, some of those are 14 and 7. Some of them are also 21 and 7 or 21 and 14, depending upon how that company works. I know for a captain, we just lost a captain to $700 a day, which is somewhere around, I don't know, forgive me if I'm on math, I'm just kind of guessing at this, on a 12-hour day, I think it's somewhere around $57 an hour. You know, so if you base that off of a 7 and 7, I think he's going to make somewhere around $125,000 a year versus my captain that's making $90,000 a year with the same license.
Right.
And the engineers are in the same boat. You know, they're offering engineers somewhere around $450 to $500, $600 a day.
Right, but.
We'll never be able to compete.
No, I know, right. We'll never be able to compete with
We
the
got to
private
find
sector.
people who like to be home at night.
Well, we have to find someone who basically is retired
And
and is willing to work for what we can afford to pay them.
I think I read the other day that Nunez is having like deckhand school and all.
I don't know anything about that.
Can we go maybe talk to them, say, hey, we got some openings if your people want to.
Look, the salary that's in the budget is a reflection of what the study reflected.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and we didn't, not all of us agreed that the study was
Correct.
what it wanted to be or what it is, but that's what we adopted. We adopted the study, and here we are today trying to fund it. I understand what you're doing with the budget
And
and the
this figure
overtime.
for the overtime was figured before
Yeah, well,
the Archer.
I don't know that you're going to get somebody, but I don't have a problem with leaving overtime in and funding the new salaries, and hopefully we can find somebody, because my goal is not to just continue the operation as it is. My goal would be to increase the operation, to run the ferry in Bellchase past 5 o'clock, to where we could be able to have a service that means something to people that want to come back and forth across the river.
That's mine as well, as
So,
you
I
said.
mean, that's where my goal is, and I would hope everybody else. So, any further
I
discussion?
have an amendment for
I,
salaries. I'm sorry. It's amendment number 2.
I have something on this too when we get a
Mr.
chance.
Blink, go ahead. Ms. LaHaye, you're next.
Well, my question was, when you quote the private sector compared to our operation here, what about the benefits? If you're a parish employee, you have pretty good benefits with the insurance and the retirement. Is that something that when we advertise, we need to earmark that and make sure that people understand that are applying the benefit package that goes along with that salary?
I have read some of the retirements and, some of the advertisements, and I think Christie's pretty much saying that we have an excellent benefit package. We have paid vacation, sick leave, insurance, good retirement. Yeah, most of the other companies are only 401K. Sometimes you have to buy your own insurance.
Exactly. So
Yes.
a 401K.
Yes, it's not the same as ours.
The benefits that's offered. So if we can zero in on that when we advertise, I don't know whether you can or not, but that's something that you may be able to get people. I know a lot of people, same way with the school board, they stay for the benefit package.
I don't know why I'm still here, too.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you, if you go offshore as a deckhand, you're going to do more than throw a rope and tie up.
I worked offshore. I know all about that.
Okay, let's move on.
Wait, I still am in the queue.
Mr. Blink, go right ahead.
Thank you so much. Can you tell me a little bit about the internal training program, how we're bringing deckhands up from the deckhand level to get folks that are interested in getting their captain license? So when I began offshore, I was working as a deckhand.
Right.
I was able to work my way up. And I was at least afforded the time off to go and do that, right? I didn't get any kind of incentive from the company. My dad actually helped me. He gave me the money to do that. But is it possible that internally within the port, there's funding for training, there's space for time off for folks that are interested to better themselves and go and at least begin the process of getting their license? I'm sure there's a couple of ambitious folks that would love to get off the deck and either in the engine room or in the wheelhouse.
That's a good question. Myself as well, I kind of did the same thing you did. I started on offshore. I wanted to move up. That's one of the keys, though. We need personnel who want to move. Some of them are just happy where they're at. When we were with PPG, we couldn't have any type of program like that because under the Coast Guard regulations, I would take a deckhand. Let's say he wanted to be a captain. Well, yes, he has to start off as a 100-ton captain. Well, once he got that license, he couldn't move any further with us because our boats require a 1,600-ton captain. I have one vessel that's 432 tons, one of them 650 tons, and one of them's 950 tons. So with a 100-ton license, he couldn't operate none of our vessels. So he either had to quit and go work with someone else, and then start trying to get his license from there. But he had to find a company with the appropriate tonnage so he could start moving up the ladder. A deckhand could be an engineer with us. That would be kind of no problem. We had a bunch of deckhands which became engineers, which I just hired one. We had probably since my employment 28 years, we've probably had 6 or 7 of our deckhands that decided they wanted to be engineers. And we hired them back we've promoted them as engineers as spots came open. Now that we are with the port, I've been discussing this with Christy in some meetings. I'm trying to get the program together. That we have an avenue now to form some form of apprenticeship or training program because they can start off on the deck as a deckhand engineer or as a deckhand on my ferry, and they can get a captain's license from either vessel, then go work with the port if they have an opening for a captain on one of their vessels. And they can work their way up the ladder to a 1,600 ton. We have the tonnages capability on all of our vessels. the deckhands as well. They can take a deckhand engineer, if he wants to be an engineer on the ferry, we have the avenues now.
The port does pay and reimburse those for their licensures.
Good. That's
It's
excellent.
part of our professional
So-
development policy.
I'm glad it's something that y'all are thinking about. And
Yes, I'm kind of by myself writing this up, hoping that when we get our new our new director of security, I was told he has a little bit of a background in that. Him and I can already had kind of talked about getting together and starting to move this forward. My target would be go after maybe some high school kids, fresh getting out of high school and looking for some type of career path. Just like I was. I had I come out of high school, I started off offshore, I liked it, and I wanted to be in the wheelhouse. And I chose that path. Some of them only want to be in in the engineers, but it's a path other than entering a deadhead job as just being a deckhand.
Well, I'm sure this board will support, financially, whatever else, and, it'd be nice to have some folks be able to make some headway and then solve our personnel bottleneck at the same time. Thank you for thinking about it. It's important.
All right, any further questions? Hearing none? Move on.
Okay, the ferry department also has a decrease of
Oh,
$88,140.
you had an amendment, you said, right?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Amendment number 2 for salaries
Okay,
and wages.
the increase is $13,259 from what is already in the budget.
Yes, because we
And-
had an employee that he was promoted and it wasn't reflected with the Archer numbers, so we had to do an increase.
So the original increase was $209,000, and you're adding $13,000 to that number.
Yes.
I'll offer the amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Konovich. Any comments or questions on the amendment? Hearing none, machine is open. And the amendment is adopted 8-0, Mr. Bartholomew being absent. Next.
Okay, a decrease of $88,144 for group health insurance. The next one is maintenance ramps. We originally asked for 15, and I think I gave Kim.
I have an amendment here.
Yes.
50,000.
Yes, Tony would like to add another.
Anyone who's crossed the ferry knows that this is very much needed. I'll offer the amendment and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Which amendment we looking at?
It's an amendment to increase 52,612 from 15,000 to 65,000 by an increase of $50,000 for maintenance on the ramps. I'll offer an ask for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Blink. Any comments or discussion?
Yeah, all the ramps and bridges up to date on inspections.
That would be
Yeah, we've got a report we just received from the engineering department that said that they met all of the criteria to the state. I was hesitant to vote for that, but I did, just riding across it. But
I'll explain what that money's for. In 2009, we replaced all of the boards on the Pont Lahash landing, the landing in Pont Lahash. The boards, it's about that time for those boards to start being replaced. We've been replacing one or two here and there, but they all have to be replaced. That's 150 of them. I just bought 20 boards at a price of $260 a piece. They come straight from the sawmill.
So we talking about what size, 4 by 12 by 20?
They 4 by 12 by 18, and we have to cut them down a little bit. And they're costing us, like I said, at $260 a piece. Back in 2000, I think we had ordered some back in 17. It was only like $140 a piece. So naturally, we know what happened. Those 20 boards ran me $4,500. So I have to buy 150, roughly 150. That's going to run me, I just got a price. It's going to run me about $32,000. I asked the company who I called if I bought a whole bunch, more than just the 20, like I told them, I was looking at about 150. Would that be a different price? Because I'm buying so many. They said no. I probably have to go there and speak to an actual salesman instead of someone behind the counter. see if I can negotiate a better price. If not, well, like Chrissy said, we'll have to put that out for bid. The hardware, each board takes 4 bolts per board to do it correctly.
Galvanized?
That's galvanized timber bolts. I got a price on that already. To do that, I need approximately 650 to 700 bolts. That's going to run me somewhere around $4,500 for the bolts, the washers, and the nuts. To do it in-house, roughly it'll run me somewhere close to $50,000 to do it in-house. If we were to bid this out, get a private company to come in, we're probably looking at about $100,000. We've done it before in-house, where I remember doing it. It was in 2009. It was me and Joey and a whole bunch of the maintenance guys. We went out with our Bobcat and our equipment, and we changed Point LaHash out in, I think, 2 weekends. One side per weekend. Yes, we are short-handed and we are short-staffed, but we've been talking about this between Rowdy and myself and my few maintenance guys and their maintenance guys. We could pull it off again where we do it in 2 weekends.
Okay, great. Any further comments? Completed, Councilman LaFrance?
And what, the last time we purchased those boards, they came from where?
We getting them from Dufresne. Dufresne's ordering them straight from the lumber company. It has to be special order.
It's just regular treated board, right?
Yes, they're regular treated boards, but like I said, they are 4 inches thick, 12 inches wide, and they're I think they're 18 feet long, and I think we're cutting them, I think 2 foot off of them, so they could fit, yeah.
Well, why are we not ordering, instead of an 18-foot, why are we not ordering 16 feet?
I don't quote me on this. I believe we can only order that. Because I know Joey had tried getting them in the 16-foot line. I think they're 16s. I'm not 100% on that. But he had tried that, and they said this is how they're selling them. Yeah, I mean.
Paying for 2 extra foot of board.
We find uses for them around the yard. I mean, you know, we use to block up stuff.
Blocking.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, we're paying for 2 extra feet, and we can't use them. But I know at one time, one company we was getting them from, they were coming exact length, and we can't get them from there anymore, and that's what they're selling them at.
You know,
Because we're at the mercy of the lumber yard.
yeah. You know, when you order, when you're buying lumber and them 2 extra foot.
Oh, I know.
16 to 18, that's a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, you.
Any further comments or discussion? Here, none. Machine is open on the amendment. I'll offer it, and it was offered by myself and Councilmember Blink seconds. Machine is open. 8-0. Councilmember Vitale being absent. Next item, please.
Page 13, diesel fuel ferries, we are asking for an increase of $349,140. Vehicles, light trucks, vans, $40,000 increase, and major repairs, an increase of $40,000.
Major repairs, 40,000.
Yes,
Is that for a boat or a vehicle? Vehicle? I see you want to buy a vehicle, plus you want 40,000 to repair. Is it worth the repair, I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't know if that's correct. What I
$40,000.
put in there. Let me look, but I didn't, major repairs, I don't know why that's in that category, to be honest with you.
You got 115,000 in major repairs. It's an increase of 40,000.
Yes.
We spent 21,200.
The 40,000 was for a vehicle we need. We, just like the port, we have an agent.
That's in the top line item.
yes.
He's asking about the one.
I'm asking about the 40,000 increase in major property repairs make it to 115.
5-year inspection.
No.
You spent 21,000 in 2022. You're budgeting 115,000, which is a 40,000 increase according to this,
I'm looking.
from the 75,000 that was budgeted last year.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I know I asked for 40,000 for a vehicle.
Yeah,
Well, property major repairs
Yeah, I'm looking,
We can take that out, Tony, I think.
yeah, I don't know where, that could have been, what that might have been, just a guess, because we had a bunch of shuffling going on at the port, as you're aware of. I had asked for 50,000 for the barges, for the maintenance on all the landings. This could have been part of that misstep where it was put in the wrong column. I'm not 100% on that. But I don't recall asking for a 40 and then asking for a 40 for major repairs. I had asked, when I initially gave them my budget, I had asked for 40,000 for a vehicle. I had put it in, I didn't know where to put it at the time. They instructed me it has to go in vehicles. I just put it under major, some capital outlay. And
This is for the ferries department.
yes, sir.
Okay, let's, while we're on this subject, recently we have been talking about relocation of the barge, and I believe Ms. Melissa has negotiated with the Rathburn people to utilize their dolphins in the river, so we don't have to go across the river with our barge. Do we have any money in here budgeted to pay that? And I think you did a great job on the $700 a month, correct? So, do we have any money in the budget to cover that?
What would that be for?
That would be on the 2462. That would be for the rescue boats to relocate.
Melissa, can you come explain that, please, to the board?
So I had a conversation with Mr. Rayburn regarding us using his space to dock the barge. It's going to be approximately 15 months. Based on a comparison with some other ports in the area, some were $600 a month, some were $800 a month, so he agreed to the $700. So I told him I would get with the board, and if they agreed to that, then I'd put together an agreement for us to lease that space from him.
And the purpose of that is because of the water plant expansion, we are having to move out of the way of the construction of the new water intake booster station that's going to be built in that vicinity. So we have to move over, and then at the end of the day, we're going to move back according to the plan. But it's not to hold up the contractor. We want to be able to have a place to go. And this has been in the works for a couple of years.
I'm not sure.
We could probably put that into the 2462 in the professional services for the rescue boats. That would be on page 8. We just did an amendment, that was the typo that showed it at 2 million instead of 281,000.
Right, but I mean, wouldn't this be on land lease category? We're leasing the facility from Rayburn?
Rents and lease?
Rents and
Rents and
leases would
lease.
be under 2460.
2460.
Rents and leases would be, rents and leases general.
Yeah.
We would probably have to increase because we only have $300 in there.
All right, so we need to put about $9,000 in that category, whatever you decide.
Okay.
Excuse me? We haven't got to that page yet that I know of.
I think we have, don't we have money in for the barge relocation? I think
Do?
we have 100,000 in barge relocation in another line item. Let's see.
Okay, well, if it's in there, we just take it out of there.
Yes, let me see. Where's the barge relo? Erica, do you know?
Which one?
Barge relocation? That's probably under 2462.
So this is a fee we're paying.
Yes, this is going to be monthly, but it would be because of the barge relocation. 528,615. All right, thank you,
Would
Chris.
you like to make that amendment?
528,615, yeah, maintenance barge relocation, we have 100,000 in that, so we
Okay,
could
so you
use.
got enough for that, you
Yeah,
think?
yes, we do. We don't
All
have to
right,
make an
let's
amendment.
move on. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Next item.
Oh, sorry, I lost my page.
Me too.
So,
Thank you for being patient with us.
yes. So am I leaving the 40 in for major repairs? I'm taking it out.
Okay.
Take
Move
it
to
out?
Take it out.
Okay.
Make the amendment off, ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Councilman
In
Conovich.
there for anything.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think that was getting lost.
Machine is open on the amendment. Mr. Franz, you had a question on the amendment, or you?
No, no.
We're going to make an amendment to reduce the
Yes, major
The
repairs.
major repairs under the ferry department by 40,000.
Under the maintenance of vehicles, major repair vehicles, because we are leaving the vehicle in.
We're leaving
but
the vehicle
taking
in.
the
We're just
Major
changing.
repair out,
Yeah.
unless it's necessary. Okay. Machine is open.
So proposed is going to go from 115 minus the 40.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry, excuse me, 1 second. On my paper, it says property major repairs.
Yes.
40,000.
Yeah, that was it was 75. We used, I'm sorry if I'm all on the same page as y'all.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Use 21.
Yes. And it was
Budget.
75. We used 21 too. It was increased by 40 to 115. So that's where y'all going to pull that from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was probably the shuffle with the 40,000 for the vehicle. And we, must
Right.
accidentally did it twice. Okay.
All right.
Don't want to cut your budget.
Yeah, I'm making sure, because I remember I heard you say something about vehicle and major repairing.
Well, it's right below vehicles, light trans. We're leaving the vehicle in.
Correct,
So you can buy
correct.
the vehicle, but the major repair, we're going back to the original 75,000.
Yeah, that'll work for me. That's good.
Any comments or questions on the item? Machine is open.
Councilmember LaFrance.
Any items adopted 8-0, Mr. Bartholomew being absent? Okay. Moving along.
Page 14, 2465 aviation. The only major increase we have in that budget is for maintenance helicopter. We're asking for 14,500.
And we're splitting this with the sheriff's office?
Yes, we
Yes.
are.
I thought we were going to get out of the helicopter several years ago, and they said we couldn't get out because the contract had ended in the middle of the year or something, and we were going to do it next year, and we never did do it. So are we staying in, obviously?
Yes, we do utilize the helicopter. Our marine inspectors, twice a week, do their runs with the sheriff's office.
So we don't ride the levee anymore?
We do.
We ride the levee and we do helicopter inspections?
Yes, we do.
For Ida, I went and asked for it and then couldn't get it.
The helicopter, you want the helicopter?
For Ida, I wanted to fly down the road.
Oh, well, sheriff has control of the helicopter.
Don't we pay for half?
We pay for half, but we don't, he has the,
We pay for half,
he
so
has the authority over
if
it.
port needs it, we should be able to ride in it.
Well, I'm not sure.
We could take it out of the budget right now. if you
Yeah.
want.
What I would suggest is that the CEA, when it comes up for renewal, have some language included in it to allow the port employees to use it, but it seems like they use it twice a week already.
We do use it for our runs,
Yeah.
to patrol the river.
Your wishes, Mr. Konovich.
I'll go with it.
Move on, next item.
When I ask for it next time and I get told no, it ain't leaving.
All right, next, okay.
Page 15, lane acquisition, 2468. There's no major increase or decrease. We're leaving the budget the same as of 2022.
Okay, so this is where the legal support for the land acquisition is billed, correct?
Yes, and, yes.
And the other item, the 50,000 that we had talked about earlier, we took that out?
Yeah,
Okay.
legal support.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Professional services, general, I guess that's, whatever that is, I don't know.
Did we do an amendment to it?
Abstracts and appraisals. Closing costs.
Okay. Let's,
Okay. Page 16 through 33, this is all of our,
before we move on,
Oh,
we've got
sorry.
a couple of categories here for legal support general, 120, and then land acquisition, 55 for fees, attorney fees, coming up to about 177. Is that page 15?
15, yeah. That's under capital outlay.
The piano keys is what we've been talking about.
Yes.
And so we don't have any money in the budget anywhere else to do the legal fees other than right here now, correct?
this is it, yes.
Okay.
Y'all know how many pieces we left to acquire?
Yeah, we had a report the other day. We're almost halfway,
Yeah, 6 or 8.
Oh, so we're not even halfway yet?
We're 6.
almost.
Yeah.
We required, I think, 7 or 9. And then we've had somebody come in and buy from owners while we're trying to buy from them and bump the price up twice. Okay, next item.
Okay, the next part is the port security grants, and that's page 16 through 33. Kim, can I share my screen?
Sure.
These security grants are really
Yes.
not much to discuss, is there?
No, I was just going to show the list of all the grants that we
Okay,
have,
good.
and that's on the screen. It's also in the budget summary. 2469 and 2471, those two grants are complete.
That screen's very small.
Oh, sorry.
Can you make it bigger?
What page is that on? We'll just look at.
This report is in budget summary.
The second tab, page 4.
Okay.
No. Yeah. 1, 2. Page 5, sorry.
Any questions on the grants?
Yeah, go back to the top, Erica, on 2000, and was it 18 or 19?
18.
2018.
Okay, so we've completed those grants, so we still wait, so what does that mean when it's not complete? Are we still waiting on the funds for that particular grant from
No, we have
2018?
the funds.
So why is it not?
2470 is the barge,
Uh-huh.
and it's almost finished, right?
I'm waiting for the invoice.
Yes.
Waiting on what?
I'm waiting for the invoice to finish it.
Oh, okay, okay.
The work's done, just waiting on the invoice.
Yeah. We still have items that we're still
It's just paperwork, complete the paperwork?
yeah,
Okay.
acquiring.
All right, any further questions on the grants? Hearing none, move to the next item.
Okay, page 34, and this is the dredging project that,
Back to details.
yeah, we working with PPG on this.
Okay,
Which page again?
It's in the details, in page
Yes,
34.
details, 34.
so we've actually spent in '22 only 91,000, but we're proposing
And
3.2
that,
million.
this number is just reflecting the first quarter. I just received third quarter invoices, so it's not in the budget. It hasn't been transferred yet.
Now, these monies are actually federal monies and
Yes.
reimbursing us? Are they reimbursements?
Yes. And as the work is done, I received the invoice and the payments from PPG, and then Shambar goes through the process and transfers the money.
The PPG,
Yes,
for what they're paying?
yes.
Okay. Any further comments on this page? None, we'll move to the next.
Okay, the next part,
Page 30.
5-year, I would like to go to the 5-year capital improvement.
Okay.
And here we have 2 projects. And it's the B3 relocation, and we have the water booster station. And in 2022, she don't have any numbers for 23. The water booster station for 2023, we appropriating, putting in the budget $9,092,381 for a total of $11,113,821.
And that is anticipated as being port priority funding grant program?
Yes, I believe so.
Can y'all make a note whether, like in a status somewhere saying port priority, that way we kind of have an idea where that money's coming from? Because, I mean, when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, well, we spent $11 million, so just a clarification, that's all.
Port priority.
Well, wherever the revenue source is.
Yeah, I know, but it's just for clarification.
No, right, I agree with you. I'm just saying that, you know, if it's not port priority and it's something else, then we just really
Right,
need to know. All right? Anything else on this capital improvement budget?
No.
And we've already appropriated these funds.
Yes.
Parts 1 and 2, this is for Phase 1. We don't have, no funding yet for Phase 2.
This budget is appropriating that phase 2? The 9
I
million?
don't believe, I don't
You didn't
think,
do it already?
just said no funding yet for Phase 2, is my notes.
Well, this 9 million though is that's in this 2023 budget.
Right. There's, let's see, is that this? That's the breakdown that we had from Kyle and Associates.
I'm wondering if we're going to get the port priority funded
This one's,
to pay for this.
let's see what the numbers are.
I'm not sure.
Well, they're going to the next step.
1.4.
Talking about phasing.
I don't know where these came from.
You can put it in the budget as long as they don't go
4,
out and.
to bid out the pump station first.
If once you encumber it, you're not going to get it.
Saying.
All right.
I'm trying
Any
to,
more
we're trying to
questions
find
on
that
it?
answer for you.
What's that?
Do we know if it's budgeted for Phase 2? Okay. That's from you. Is she answering? Do you know? Do we know?
Okay, the 9 mil is for phase 1, she said.
The 9 million is for Phase 1. And that's what's budgeted for 23. I guess if we have, when they get to Phase 2, we'll have to do an appropriation or an ordinance to to appropriate funding for Phase 2.
All right. Any further comments or discussion on that item? Hearing none, move to the next item.
The next is the manpower budget. These numbers are based on the Archer figures.
We've already made the amendment for the executive director, correct?
And we've made we made the correction for that.
When is Ms. Riley's last day on the job?
November 30th.
And are we going to advertise?
Yes, ma'am. We've reached out to civil service to start that process.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have questions on these pay raises after reviewing them, since we're seeing them in the budget now?
We did make one other adjustment to the ferries as well. We had a budget amendment to correct a salary that was entered incorrectly.
We've already adopted that
We've
budget.
already done that one, yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions? Comments? Audience? All right. Yes, Ms. Newberry.
Have we advertised, we advertising for Director of Security and Vessel? Has that been advertised?
We've actually hired our Director of Security of Vessels. We have Mr. Jalen Brown is coming to us from Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Brown has a bachelor's, a master's degree. He's working on his PhD in transportation and logistics. He is currently running an airport facility operations over in that area, and he will be here probably the first of the year, relocating to New Orleans.
Thank you for that information. Any other vacants that we are filling? The other vacancies?
We are trying really hard. We've been advertising for a senior accountant 1 for months. We've been advertising for a senior clerk for months.
Okay.
We're waiting on, civil service has been backed up with the Archer stuff, so she's going to get to us as quickly as she can.
All right, are there any other questions on the budget today? If not, what I'd like to do is adjourn the budget hearing and move immediately to the agenda and special meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council as the sole governing authority to adopt the items on the agenda. Have a motion to adjourn the budget hearing?
Second.
Motion.
Okay, unanimous? I'll offer and have a unanimous second to adjourn the budget hearing. Machine is open.
Knocked you off. Okay. It knocked you off. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fine. Okay. When it all checked off. Okay.
And the budget hearing is adjourned at 10:52 a.m.